Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
We are certainly delighted to be here at this time and at this point in our lives. It's a great opportunity. I do want to say welcome to everyone that is here. I was kind of surprised, and I'll elaborate on that a little later on. But we are grateful. We are grateful to this community, the citizen, and to everyone who's a part of our wonderful, wonderful community. I will like to say this. This is kind of unprecedented times that we're in, as we all know. Normally, we would have people from the community here, but we're grateful that we can still bring this to our community via Zoom, and as well as our local cable provider, CITYme. We're grateful for that, and I will tell you this, that at the end of the programs, we will have and entertain questions from the citizens, and how we have to do that because of this environment that we're in is that they are to email the questions to our clerk and our city office manager at the office downtown. And as well as you can also email your questions to cityclerk@phenixcityal.us. We will entertain those questions. We don't know how many we will receive. If it's too many of those, we will pick some to answer, and we will respond back to everyone. But it's up to you to, when you do email the questions or our city clerk, it's important that you send your email address. We would still like to ask for your name and your district, and whomever, the city council, myself, or whoever represents your district, the question that you would like to ask. And I promise you that we will give you an answer. We've been very transparent, and in fact, this is the highlight for this council and the city manager, because it gives us a chance to be able to tell our community exactly where your tax money is going. And so we're certainly grateful for that. And I do like to welcome everyone here, and if everyone can stand, I'll lead us with the invocation. And if we can remain standing, we will do the pledge. If we can all bow, please. Oh, heavenly gracious, loving Father, as I just spoke, these are unprecedented times. And Lord, in spite of these times that you are in control of, we truly continue to thank you for giving all of us an opportunity to be here. And Lord, we ask and pray, and we can only ask and pray that you continue to bless our community, that you change hearts, that you bless this community, this council, the leadership of the city, and all the workers of this city. We truly ask that you continue to instill in us a pure and righteous heart of doing what's right. Because, Lord, we know that being right is always prolonged, and it's our responsibility as the leaders of this community to make decisions that will prolong the quality of life for people that comes after us. So, Lord, I always ask that you give us true humility. And as I always say, true humility is not thinking of yourself less, which is what true community is. That you always think of yourself less and think of others more. We ask, Lord, that we continue to be mindful, that we all have the responsibility and the question to ask: why did you spare us to be here in 2021? And Lord, there's a reason for it. And help us all search our hearts to find out what that reason is. We thank you, we love you, and we give you praise. Amen.
Amen.
If we can all face the flag, please. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all so much. Again, I just can't thank you all enough for being here. This is our state of the city, as we've always had. And I want to start off saying that we lost two very, very important people on this team. They had a total of 51 years of experience. That is a huge learning curve. And it takes time to get to that learning curve, but we are moving there and we have the momentum. Gail Gilliam served this community for 33 years. You don't stay a place that long without getting beat up, without having to sacrifice. But she did it because of her care and love for this community. And anyone who knows and knew Gail would tell you the same thing. She was consistent in her way of how she treated people. Now, she knew how to get tough when it was time to get tough, but she also realized that to get the right person, you had to be the right person. But we lost Gail this past June, here 33 years, and she was very, very instrumental in our team, and I'll talk more about the team, which is very, very important to this council. Also, this past November, we lost Stephen Smith, who was here for 18 years. And Stephen wore a lot of hats. He knew a lot about everything, and he was very good at it. But the most mission critical thing is that Steve, as well as Gail, knew how to treat people. They were very instrumental in part of this team. We certainly miss them. And as I stated about Gail, the learning curve that Steve had, it's going to take a while for any of us to get there, but we're in the right phrase and tone of doing that. But I felt, as well as this council, that it was important that we pay homage where homage is due, because for those years, or 51 years combined, that tells you that they really care about this community. But I also want to say this. I was kind of surprised to see as many as the department heads that are here, because I was prepared, and we always show their pictures. But this year they had a mulligan. Am I saying that right? Really? This year they had a mulligan because we are sensitive and concerned about the environment that we're in. But I tell you, I am grateful to see them, and what it tells me, and hopefully what it tells the community, is that we have dedicated people that are loyal, that is faithful to this community, because they did not have to be here today. In fact, I was prepared just to show their pictures, but we're grateful that they are here. But I also want to introduce another part of our team, the leadership of this community. I would tell you that we have the consistency, we have the care, we have the love, and we have the passion for what takes place in this community, because all of us share the common denominator of wanting to make this city and the quality of life as best as it can, even when we're long gone. So with that, I'd like to introduce, and I would like for them to stand as they call their names. Mayor Pro Tem, I'm going to say Dr. Grip Gordon, but I always call him Grip. Councilmember Steve Bailey from District 1. Councilwoman Vicki Carter Johnson from District 2. Arthur Day from District 3. Our city manager, Wallace, and now normally I don't say this, Wallace B. Hunter, but I say that for a reason, because he's done such a great job for us. But I also would like to ask that our city clerk, Melanie Lee stands, as well as the office manager down there for Melanie, and for us, Shannon Davis. And this is the team that really, really cares about the city. So again, to this council, to Ms. Muhammad, and to Melanie and Shannon, and the people who really keeps me straight, I appreciate it, and we as a community, as a city, should thank this council for what we do. Now, we don't always agree, but we always do things right and in decency, and we don't hold grudges when we don't agree. Because we know that we have to have good dialogue, and the way we get better for this city is we push each other in the right manner. Thank you all so much. Now, at this time, I'd like to introduce the rest of the team. That is part. I know some of them are here, and I think I saw a couple of them come in. Well, I thought that the attorneys was going to come in. But Gail Griffith is here. Stand here. Griffith. He's our building department. Sean Culligan is not here, and let me tell you, when you have small kids, we understand. And again, they all had a mulligan, and I am so grateful that they all showed up. That sends a powerful message to our community, and it should. The next person is Angel Moore, who's our engineer of public works. Can we say it? Because she's kind of short. Can we say it? Next person is Brady King Copeland, who's our finance person. T. Kristen Kennedy, our fire department. Stephanie Chastain, our human resource. Mike Bauer, our information technology. That really has up the game because, all of our meetings basically have been by Zoom. Michelle Kilday from the library. Ruby White, Municipal Court. Stand up, Ruby, we can be short too, we can't raise your hand. Todd Hughes is not here, but he's also a part of this team. Chief Raymond J. Smith, our police department. And also at this time, Charles Woody, who is our acting utility director. And also John Spagg, who's also is working with Charles. And let me say this, we believe so much in team that we really can't get anything accomplished without our team. And these are a great group of people. They're doing it for the right reason. They know how to handle themselves professional. So again, council, myself, and everyone else, let's give them a round of applause. Also, next on the team, Brad, stand up. I forgot your picture up here. He's also, I guess you can help him with Todd. He's here for Todd. So we appreciate you. He made sure all this was connected. Thank you so much. Next is our legal team and our judges. We have the Honorable Judge Greg Waldrop, who's not here. Honorable Judge F. Patrick Lofton, Municipal Court Judge, and also is Honorable Judge Greg Waldrop. But we do have our City Attorney James P. Graham. Jimmy Graham is here. Jim McCoon is here. Chan Gailey. I'm thinking about football coach. Chan Gamble, also one of our city attorneys, not here. So let's give them a round of applause. And what we have to realize, the team has to be strong. And I've shared this before, it's amazing what you can do when you can come together, irregardless of the ethnicity, irregardless of what you may be doing, because, football teams does it all the time, different ethnicities, but we work for a common goal, and we are certainly appreciative of that. And thank you all so very much for being a part of our team. And we talk about that all the time, teamwork. So thank you all so much. Now we're going to get into the meat of why we are here. This is our general fund balance sheet for fiscal year, which our fiscal year starts September the 1st to October the 30th. And let me say this. In all the previous past State of the City, we took a snapshot at the end of the year of 12/30, whatever that year was, the previous year before we had it. We are using the fiscal year of the city. This is the first time we've done that. At the end of the year we were using, that was a snapshot of where we were. We are actually this time using our fiscal year, which starts September the 1st to October the 30th. So our numbers, you're going to see our numbers are amazing. and it all contributes to what we all do collectively as a team. As you see here, our cash, you see how it has gone up. Ms. Lana, I don't want to get in the way.
I'm good. No, good, I'm fine. I got you.
Let me stand over here. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to get in anyone. Wait. As you see, balance sheet, our general fund balance sheet, as you see, we've had growth. But when you look at our fiscal year 2019 to 2020, we had a 33% increase in our cash. Strong as pilots. And actually, that winds up being like $4.2 million increase. So it's a 33% increase. Other asset, we grew from 5.9 to 6.9, but this is the key. That is a 28% increase right here, or either $5.6 million. Now, that's our total asset. Of that, 72% of that is cash. And as I said today, and I always say, we all know cash is king. So of our total asset, 72% of that is cash. And you can see how we've actually grown, but we'll explain even more how we leaped from 13.8 to 18.5. 33% increase. Strong. Here is our liability. The other one was the asset. The key here is that right here, 19,000 from the world that I live in, that's the net worth. That's our net worth. It's unassigned, but that's our net worth of what we have, because our liabilities is here, which we add our net worth to our liabilities, and we get the same thing, which is asset balance. But this right here is our net worth as we look at it in terms of financial. Municipality and government kind of look at theirs a little different, but actually in layman terms, that's the net worth. So again, we have total asset of $25 million, and of that, 72% of that is cash. Cash is king. If you look at this, again, on the fiscal year, the growth that we've had, 2019, 38 million to 43.7 million. That's 5.2% increase. That's 13.72% increase. 5.2 million increase. Strong. Now, for the fiscal year of 2020 to 2021, it did increase. It increased by 1.5 million, but if the Lord have us all here, we'll be talking about that next year. But you can see the strength of our budget, how we have grown. Look at it from 2016 to now. 43.74, 43.7%, $43.7 million, which this is a 13.72% increase. Operating days of reserve, which is very important. Any organization, household, business, school, anything. When you look at our operating days from 2019 to 2020, that's our fiscal year, we have 192 days of operating funds. 190, that means we have almost 6.5 months of operating without any cash coming in. Strong, 192 days. And that's the highest, since I've been on the council, we've had. It is, isn't that right, Art?
That's correct, sir.
Yeah, and I know from the other council members, Ms. Johnson, Steve, that's the highest we've had, 192 days. That's strong. That's about 6.5 months that we can operate. But again, cash is king, very strong. Here's our debt service, which is highly important. This is how we pay our bills under the general fund. If you look here, 26.7 million to 0.8 million. In layman terms, that's the income that's come in that we operate with 2020. That is a 15% increase from 2019 to 2020. And check the math, that's a 15% increase. And that is about $4 million more in 1 year. It's $4 million increase or 15% increase. Strong. Again, that is the amount of money that we use to pay our bills, but I'm going to show you all something even more exciting than that. Here's our general obligation debt. You see we went from 65.1 million to 60 million. That's 5 million swing from here to here. That is a 7.72% decrease in our general obligation one. Now, there's a reason behind it, and I'll get to it when we get here to our annual debt service that you see have dropped. But this right here shows how aggressively that we are reducing our debts. Very aggressively. And so you see right there, that's over $5 million decrease. Strong. And we talk about that. Now, let me say this, caveat this. The city is a business like any other business. There are times where we have to borrow money to meet the needs of things for the quality of life of people in our community. But we're very conscious of that. And we all know that. The council knows that. But we do also know that we don't put it out there without a means of paying. We always have a primary way of paying it. We always have a secondary way of paying the debts. And sometimes a third way, which they call it tertiary. But again, we are aggressively reducing our debts. Here, our self-supporting debt, as you see, the utilities fund, the DRA, the Downtown Redevelopment Authority, school system. As you see, this dropped from 85.3 million to 55.3 million. But the reason for that is because the school system are supporting their own debt. They were able to, because of our credit rating and some of the things they've done, they were able to refinance their debt to save on the interest costs, which I'll talk about more later on for us. But that is the $30 million that you see that the school system has taken on for themselves. Am I right, Mr. Hunt? So that's a swing of $30 million. So that's not counted in our totals. But it is self-supporting, as our utilities department and Department of DRA also funds their own debts. But that's a $30 million swing. That's a 35% decrease from here to here, and mainly because of the $30 million. Total debt as you see here. Okay? Which is those two added together. Here, our annual debt service. This is how we paid our debt back. You need to have a strong amount of money coming in, but we were able to reduce our annual debt service, which is the total amount of money we pay for the year to pay our bills. That's in layman terms. So over an annual time of 12 months, our annual debt service dropped from 11.6 million to 8 million. Okay? That's strong. Now, the reason why it dropped is, again, we were able to pay down our debts. That's why it dropped from 11.6 million to 8 million. That's strong, because again, the cost of this amount and because our debt service, which is more money we can put in the coffer to do other things, look how much we saved in 1 year. Let me tell you, that's something to be proud of. So again, our annual debt service for the entire year dropped from 11.6 million to 8 million. Okay? I can't ask me any questions because, no one is here other than the department head. But when you look at the the total income, our total amount of payments, that gives us a debt coverage ratio of 382.34%, but in layman terms, $3.82 is left over after we pay all our bills. In any other business, this number, they always look at 1.20 or 120%. But ours is the highest it's ever been that I can recall, right, counsel? Which means that for after every debt we pay, we still have $3.82 left over. But all that is derived because we aggressively started reducing our debt, and as you can see there, about $5 million, which is a 7.72% increase. And this right here, a decrease. And this right here is a 31% decrease. $5.6 million. $3.6 million. But our annual debt service in the municipal government terms is 382.34%. But the best way to look at it is that it's 3.82, which means that after we pay all our debt, we still have $3 left. The industry is $1.20. We have $3.82. When we stretch that, because you always have to think about the worst thing to happen. When we stretch it at 6%, our debt service goes up there. But this is a very good interest rate. We stretched it to 6%, which means our annual debt service went up 12.1 to 12.1 million, which is almost $4 million, and we're still at 253.15% or 2.53%, which means that after every debt we pay, we have $2.53 left. Because you always have to plan for what's the worst thing can happen. So even in this environment, which now the environment that we're in, that we have a very low interest rate, but we did it at 6%, which we've always done. And our average debt service went up $12.1 billion, almost $4 million more, but we still able to service out there at 2.53%. Strong, very strong. Thank you all, Mr. Hunter and the finance department, the team, because everybody plays a part in it. The city is a business and we have to run it like a business. And we can never apologize for that. Sales tax revenue. 2019 to 2020. Increase of $3.5 million. Strong. Now there's a reason for that. It's the growth, and I'll talk about that. It's the growth of what businesses has come here, the rooftops, and I'll talk about that as I get down here. But it increased $3.5 million. Very strong. In 1 year. That shows the growth. As you see, it's a 14% increase from 2019 to 2020. Strong, proud, a lot going on in spite of what may be said. There's a lot of activities of businesses that are coming here that is opening up, and it has paid dividends of $3.5 million in 1 year, which is that's the highest it's ever been. Am I correct? Jimmy, you've been around. You're on the council. Is that the highest it's ever been? Yes. $3.5 million in sales tax, which is our lifeblood. That's the lifeblood of the city. And you see it's a 14% increase. This right here, I want us to look at this, and we need to understand this. We really need to understand this. I'm sorry, Tumbar. Let me get up. We really need to understand this. Assess value of taxable property. 2019, we were at $343 million. 2020, $353 million. As you see, a 3% increase. But since 2012, that has grown from $296,600,000 and some odd In 2012, from 296 million to 353 million, which represents a 20% increase. Now, what that tells is the true story. As I stated, how we got here, but these numbers here run congruently together. It is hard to get to numbers like this if you don't have the value here, which means the rooftops of businesses that are here. That's a lot of new businesses, am I right, Council? There's a lot of new businesses, rooftops that has come, that has increased our value, taxable property value in the municipality since 2012, from 296 million to 353 million. That's a 20% increase, which shows the growth of our community. That is indicative to this. And this is indicative to this. You cannot get to here if you're not doing anything here. It won't work. Since 2012, a 20% increase. And that's how we get our limits on our general obligation debt. The higher that goes up, the more we can use to have on our general obligation debt, which is 20% of that, which is about $173 million that we can use. Excuse me, 73 million. The 170 something is with our 772, but we're not going to talk about that. But right here, these two here is indicative of each other. 20% increase, strong. Just to go over some things so everybody can know how their money is being spent. From 2012 to 2020, we did a total of 32.56 miles in the city, in our municipality. You might think, well, you know, our city is only, and Chief, correct me if I'm wrong, is only about 26, 28 square miles, right? The city limits. Well, we did 32.56 miles in 8 years. 2019 to 2020, that's how much we spent in city infrastructure property, streets, reserves. $8 million. So again, we just letting the people know where their tax money is going. $8.8 million from 2019 to 2020. City infrastructure projects that has been done and are under construction. As we see here, 14th Street, the grant is under construction. The cost is $425,000. This is the beautification that you may see going on 14th Street. This is the beautification project that you've done. And if you go on 14th Street, you'll see some things. Here's is the Riverwalk wooden bridge. We all knew what damage that bridge was, and it's been there since what, 96, 97? Somewhere around there. So it needed repair, so we've done it and doing it. It's $318,000 we spent. This is your money. We want you to know where it's going. Opelika Bridge Road replacement that I think is on target. And Melody, let me say, Angel, if I'm incorrect, let me know, but I think around the 12th of next month, providing the weather. Am I safe to say that?
Weather depending.
The weather depending. That's the projected date. 4.2 million. And I know, and the other thing I want to say in caveat, it's been less than a year since that project started. It started in March of last year, I think around March the 5th. But it's scheduled to be completed less than a year. Now, we did say hopefully 9 months, but it's been less than a year. And I listen, we know it's been inconvenience, but we appreciate you understanding because that's progress. But hopefully, the middle of next month at the latest, it will be completed. Other project, upcoming project for the public works. C&D landfill expansion. We've got the preliminary. Resurfacing of South Railroad Street in planning. Resurfacing of Brickyard Road. Seal Road Bridge replacement. These are some of the things that are coming up that what your money is doing for this community to create a better quality of life. Utilities, contract capital projects here, as you see. Somerville Road, sanitary sewer, 8,900 feet completed. Look how much that costs. Installation at Brandywine, and I'm being very dangerous with here. I think that's some kind of gauge, and, you know, it's over my head, but I think it's some kind of gauge for that area. Other things that you can see, completed, the cost. Look here, Southbrook Gravity surveying, $338,000. Building roof of a water filtration plant in progress, $155,000. Somerville Road extension planning, $865,000. Total plan cost $15 million. Listen, it takes money to run a business. This is a business, but we're creating a quality of life for everyone. And we're able to still service our debt and pay these bills. So we got a lot to be thankful of. City infrastructure project utility in-house, $106,000. I do want to just talk about this when you can see those there, the water on the cut rate, the main extension and Walker Court. But this one right here, Charles and John, correct me if I'm wrong, there was a defect in some meters that we placed, and we have replaced all of them. I think it was about 12,000. We're down to about 400 more to replace. Am I correct, Charles and John? That we did city within house. So it was a defect in the meter. It's been corrected. It was over 12,000. We're down to 400 more to. Isn't that right, Steve? And we thought it was up there, because I know you got a lot of questions on that. But they've done a great job, and look how much it costs us to do that. Total of $106,000. Water filtration plant, re-roofing. We see what that cost is. $155,000. You got to maintain and upkeep. Here, wastewater collection, Somerville Road, we talked about that, the completed cost, $809,000. The Department of Human Resource, which is about to open, that was about a $6 million project. Am I right, Ms. Arnold? And this is a beautiful building, and it's about to open, but that was $6 million. Cut Rate Road, which we talked about, that's a $4.2 million project that should be through next month, providing the weather is good. Okay? Martin Luther King Street, Arthur Sumbry, who was a councilman in this community for several years. Even when I was young and my hair was black, he was on the council. But we did a dedication of Memorial Highway for him. Parkway, 5th Street South. That was over $1 million. This almost 1.5 million. And this is a beautiful parkway. And we named it in his district where he served for all those years. It was only fitting. The council supported it, and it's just beautiful. That runs all the way back to 431. So that was I think about $1.5 million cost. Right here, this is important public safety building. We're in the process. This is a rendering. Now, we don't want anybody to say, well, that's not the picture, and you will be correct. This is a rendering that we are going to reconstruct, as you may want to say, do some revitalization to the municipal building. As you see, council chambers will be updated, municipal courtroom, there'll be other offices added, and it will be coming out. You should see that construction pretty soon. Am I right, council?
Yes.
And that's about a $4.4 million project. Again, we're thankful that we have the funds and we can do it. We do not put the cart before the horse. That is not business, but that you will see some revitalization of that starting real soon. It's going to come out closer to the street, and from what I learned, it used to be closer to the street back in the day now, when that was. But so we're just going back to that, but we're doing the update on it, as you see right here. That's a $4.4 million project. We're also building a fire training center. This is critical. This is very mission critical, and this is going to cost about $1.2 million. In fact, $1,250,000. Am I correct, Chief? We need this. As you see, it'll be a burn building, and drill tower will be built behind it. I don't know what a bay storage is, but I guess it's just a storage. But this costs $1.2 million. It's critical because of the growth that we're having. We need to have this. Also, one of the main reasons is, hopefully, the goal is to help keep your insurance costs down on your homes. Am I right, Chief? Now, the cost of our growth is also in the future. Mr. Hunter, you correct me if I'm wrong on this, that we're in the process of discussing a new fire station. Am I right, Council?
Right, that's
That
correct.
goes out west.
Correct.
All of that goes along with this because, again, because of the growth, we are focusing on trying to keep the insurance costs down for our citizens in this community. And is it the OSA, right? ISO, okay. I'm thinking of, okay, ISO.
Yes.
But this is well needed because it will help keep the house insurance down when we have all these kind of facilities, and as we look forward to building another fire station, preferably going out west. Am I right, Council? Haven't we discussed that, Mr. Hunt?
Yes, sir.
Again, progress. Commercial development, which we are very proud of. Renfro's, as we know, 22 acres. It opened on the 24th of June. Been a great addition to our community. Help providing where our tax revenue has gone up. And there's still more areas down there, and adjacent to this will be developed. So we have a lot of opportunities, and this was on the 22-acre spot. And we still have opportunity, and then we still should start seeing some more construction going on down there. We're in the talks of a lot of businesses. We're not at liberty to discuss it yet, but Renfro's has been a great addition to this community. And like I said, it has helped us with our tax revenue. Here, 280 in Maine, we know where this is, where PHENIX was. You see we have the roses. They have generated taxes for us, and it has created a lot of jobs for us. And so we've created a lot of jobs within the year. Here, Phoenix City Marketplace, as we know, that's a 19-acre site out here on 280. As you know, we have all of these culverts is there. We have the car wash there, and there's about 6 other acres that will be developed also. But all of these businesses help add to our tax revenue. That's why you see where we increased over $3 million in our tax revenue. Very important, which is the lifeblood of our Highway 80 West out by Walmart. This is a 14-acre site. As you see, the businesses that are coming there, and there's some that we're not at liberty to discuss. As you see, the Dollar Tree, Taco Bell, there's a Popeyes, and a car wash is supposed to be coming. But there's also a couple of other ones that we're not at liberty to discuss at this time. But again, this adds to our tax base, and it also is going to help us raise our taxable assessment value in our community, which they run coincide together. Future development. Anytime you're in a leadership position, you just can't think about right now. As I stated, it's our responsibility for long term, for the future of the citizen in Phoenix City. So the city, the council, the city manager, all of us, we've invested because it is a business. Here, this is on Broad Street. We all know where it is. Right across, almost right across from the municipal building and our police station is in that area across the street. It's about 1.2 acres. We paid $850,000 for it. We had the cash to do it. We didn't want to finance it, so we paid cash for it, but this is for future development. Because as we know, everything is taking place where? Closer to the river. We know COVID has thrown a curveball to us, but we will defeat that. When I say we, this country, nothing comes to state. But we paid $850,000 for that, for future development. And I also want to say this, and correct me, council, it's also in the entertainment district that we've approved.
That's correct.
And hopefully we get some momentum there, and not only here, but along that thoroughway of our downtown. So we did purchase that property for $850,000, and this is not anything new, but we want to let you know this is 22 plus minor acres that we bought, the Lyles property. We paid $900,000 for that, and we all know with our plans is to hopefully build an event center. We know that with COVID, it kind of put everything on the back burner because, again, we got to make sure we're stewards of the taxpayer monies. And I will tell you, we've had several other partners that has contacted us as far as building an event center and some other things that would be an attraction here. But since COVID has arisen, everybody had to put it on the back burner, which is the right thing to do because we have to be stewards. So again, we spent $850,000 here, $900,000 here. So the great thing about it, we had cash, and you saw our cash position. Cash is king, and we still in a great financial position. Now, we are stewards of your money. Here's some commercial development. As we know, Harbor Vita 8, they invested $3.4 million, created 14 jobs, and JBL that we know about it, the expansion, $3 million, created 50 jobs, which total 64 jobs, and that's the project total cost for the 2020. And actually, you know, we talked about day change, and if you put those numbers in, it's actually way higher than that as far as job creation as well as capital investments. Okay? Parks and Rec. This is neat. I'm not a golfer, but I did find out, I knew that we purchased 60 golf carts, and let me tell you, they are modern technology. Safety devices. I think it lets you know when you're about to run off the road, from what I was told. Has a GPS on it. Lets you know the distance, yards, and all of that. And we've gotten a lot of great reports on this, and also on the golf course itself. But you know, we were able to get 60 of these, and you see all the things that it does. But you know, I was amazed. They said to keep it from running off the road, or I let you know. I guess you have to keep it yourself, but at least it warns you. The outstanding for our community. Here is also what we call a rec desk. You know, with all the activities that we have going on, you know, you usually have to call it Parks and Rec or go by, but now you can do it through our rec desk, which you don't have to go there. You can access it from our website and ask questions on what's available, when you would like to schedule something. But again, it's just a way of us keeping up with the modern times, but also serving our citizens. Brad and Todd, they were very proud of this. And so again, it's just, you can do everything online. You don't have to call or go by. But again, it's a way that we're trying to be progressive, as well as making sure we're creating a quality of life for our citizens, which are our customers. Okay? Here, the Riverwalk development we talked about, that's the bridge. Costs $318,000. You see the replacement of it, and you know how the other one looks. So, you know, we've been very progressive in this area. $318,000 there. And again, we want you to stay connected to our city. Anything that you want to see, you can go online, or you can come down to the city clerk office and ask for it. And we would be more than happy to show it to you and let you see it, because again, we are just doing everything with the right demeanor, the transparency, the openness. And it's always important to us that we let our citizens know, as a council group, what we're doing with your money, because it is your money. And we take it very seriously. And because again, that's the responsibility mainly of the city manager as well as this council. And we have done a very good job with that. Now, we do know how things can happen, but as I stated, from a financial standpoint, we've done outstanding. I will tell you also, last year we were able to refinance some of our bonds because of our credit rating, and we were able to save over $10 million in interest costs. Would not have been able to do that if we didn't have a good rating and if we weren't doing things right. So from a financial standpoint, we're doing great. We have to be steward. We don't just, I hope a lot of people don't think we have money and money to burn. We don't. We have to make sure and prepare and think about the worst that can happen. Because cash is king. The reserve, as you saw the number of days, strong. Our general fund is strong. Great credit rating, been able to save over $10 million in interest costs because of our credit rating, and we're going to try to get hopefully an uptick in our credit rating. But I will tell you that we are very stable from an economic standpoint. We're very stable, and hopefully we can improve from there from Standards and Poor's. So with that, I am going to open it up for some questions, but I would like to refer to the City Council. If there's anything at this time, or we can come back. If you all have anything you want to say, but do we have any questions? You want to read it?
Yes, so we have one question. Mr. Bember is wanting to know.
Who was that?
Bember, B-E-M-B-E-R.
Okay.
He's wanting to know, is there a budget on roads for 2172 Lee Road 46?
What district?
Now, did he say what district?
No, he did not.
Now, let me say this, and I shared this the other day with someone. We don't just arbitrarily go out and pave a road, and we'll refer to Mr. Hunter as well as Angel. There's a plan that we have out there of paving roads. And as I told the person that called me just last week or 2 weeks ago, we don't just arbitrarily do that. There's a plan, a systematic plan. However, and I do want to caveat this, however, if there's a road with a lot of high traffic use, it can, let me make sure it can jump the system that we have to pave that road. Am I correct, Mr. Hunter? Am I saying that correctly? Okay. Angel?
Yes, sir. Can they verify that address again, the street?
What's 20 Lee Road?
2172 Lee Road 46.
Actually, I think it's 46, Lee Road 2, 2176.
Okay, if it's designated as a Lee road, that would not be in our jurisdiction, and I would recommend that they call the Lee County Highway Department, and they might have some better information for them there. But Mayor, as you said, we do a lot of studies when we do look at all of our roads. We look at the condition of the pavement, we look at the traffic count, we look at, major thoroughfares, how many houses we can impact. So there's several different variables that we look at as we are doing our pavement studies.
Okay.
Well, we're actually right now, don't we have someone that's grading our roads and all for us?
Yes, sir.
On that-
Yes,
Right
sir.
on that same schedule, to give us an idea of which ones are being used more than others with traffic. and
Well,
everything.
we don't know how to deal
Where
with
we can come up with a plan that would fit the roads that would need to be paved, if they had a high rate of traffic and everything.
Yes, sir. And we're also, as Mr. Hunter has, sort of really instilled in us, we're not looking at we're looking at preventive maintenance also. We're not just looking at trying to let the roads go to dirt and then come back in and rebuilding it. So there are gonna be some other applications like crack sealing, fog sealing, some other rejuvenating of the pavements that y'all will see along with this pavement study. But of course, there are some roads that we're just gonna have to completely mill up and then put back down new asphalt.
Okay, thank you, Angel. Thank you, Ms. Hines. Any other questions, Melvin?
No, sir, not yet.
Any from you, Shannon?
No, sir.
Well, again, if you do have questions, make sure you email our city clerk at cityclerk@phenixcityal.us, and you can go out on our Zoom right now and type them in. And if we have 100, we won't answer 100, we'll pick and choose, but I promise you, we will get you an answer. Okay, any others?
Mayor, I'd like to say one thing a while ago, when you were going through all the numbers. People need to remember that this was the year of COVID.
Yeah.
Now, the whole year
Good
wasn't
point.
that way, but a large amount of it was. And, so we've got a lot of people that, have been fortunate to still be working, a lot of people that aren't. But all this was a COVID year and it's growth and it's new, but we had an awful lot, we had some big increases. We had a lot of things to slow down
Yeah.
and not stop, but to be put in slow motion that would have materialized by now if it hadn't been for that, and our numbers would have been quite a bit better.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
really would have been.
Good point, Steve.
I mean, I know 2 or 3
appreciate it.
businesses that, they had to stop, but they've been, and when they materialize, they'll be very successful here. And they're gonna materialize, but it's just gonna be later
Everything had
on.
to be on the back burner.
And our numbers would have been even greater than what they are now. So we're very fortunate we live in a community that, didn't take some big hits from COVID. A lot of
No, we didn't.
communities have taken some huge hits. We're fortunate we didn't, but it's because we're in a position that we've been so careful with what we've done, and we're so careful on what we do, that we don't just, like you said a while ago, we don't jump out there ahead of ourselves and put the wagon ahead of the horses. We let the horses pull the wagon rather than the horses trying to push the wagon. And it just makes a lot of difference for that.
I said the manager is, he's stern on that too. I mean, he's, seen some things and we just step back because again, look, every one of us gonna have to answer on how we do this. Every one of us. So we wanna make sure we do it right, and we are doing it right. Okay. Okay? Any other questions, Melanie? Well, we may get some in, and if they have some specifically for the representatives, tell them to make sure they, say their district and their names, and, they'll get back with them, I'll get back with them, we'll get back with them with the answer. Okay? There's another one that came in? Okay?
WTVM news reporter wants to know, will there be more entertainment geared developments after the event center?
Of course. That's what we want to build. And I would tell you, there's still plans for more entertainment this year. But, we don't know how soon we're going to get our arms around this environment. But when I say we, I'm talking about the entire country. I'm optimistic about it. I think we will. I know we will. Nothing comes to stay. But we do know that, people confidence level has to get up also for this environment. But we will get there, but to answer the question, yes. Any other ones? Okay. Any council member, anything that I may have missed? But we are just, we've had a very, very good year, outstanding year. When our sales tax, went up that high, our budget increased. Just all the numbers just look great, but in spite of that, we still have to stay home. Because things can happen that could take us to our knees. And we are always, from here down, we are always reminded of that. We have a contingency plan, we have a contingency budget, we have all those things, because again, you got to plan for the worst, yes.
Another question from News 3, News Channel 3. When should all the construction be completed?
As far as what? Well, let me say this. If they're talking about the event center, again, we alluded that with this COVID, you know, you gotta put that on the back burner. Now, with the construction of some of these commercial development that we talked about, you know, those vendors, they have to put it on the back burner too. So that's kind of a wide and broad question, and I really don't know how to answer it. Do any of you all? Huh?
No, no.
Yes,
Another question, whenever you're ready.
okay.
Are there any plans for bike trails?
That has been discussed. I will say that, we have discussed that, the city manager, even some other things too, that we can do for the community. But it has been talked about, but nothing has been decided or even discussed as far as concrete. But that has been discussed as long with some, you know, we got plans, you know, we want to build a miracle park, which would be huge. That's Mr. Gordon's vision. So, and we will get there, you know, we got to have some partners to help us to do that. Because again, we can ill afford, now let me say this, the government, the city can't do it all on its own, certain projects. We got to have some partners to help us. But with the miracle park, how awesome would that be?
Well,
Just think about that. Now that, you're talking about inclusion, you know, which we always talk about. But to have a miracle park, that sums up the inclusion. So yes, we do, you know, have those plans. They coming in, any more?
Not right this second.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Hunter, anything I missed, council? Did I miss anything from?
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I'd like for you to elaborate on that a little bit more about the school, our school system, and they were able to use our credit rating to refinance their warrants and save them tremendous amount of money.
Yes. Well, let me see if I can go back to that screen. Because that is the debt that's counted in the debt, but we're not responsible for it. But let me say this, now let me caveat out this too. I can say that, and Mr. Hunter correct me. If anything happened with the school, guess who is gonna fall back on it?
But the portion that I was referring to, Mayor, that they were able to use the
Yes.
city credit rating
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah, let me get back to that.
And receive outstanding interest rates on doing so.
Yeah. Give me just a second here. And you can pick up this from the city council. I think you're going too far here. Yeah, right
right
here.
there.
Okay. It dropped from 85 million to 55 million, which is $30 million. That's a 35% decrease. We have debt that are self-supporting, which means that it does not fall into our general obligation debt that the city is solely responsible for. Okay? Now, if something happened here, even with the school or these utilities, it's going to fall back on the city. We know that. That's even more important why we need to make sure cash stays keen. But because what Mr. Day is talking about, because of our credit rating and what the school system has done, they've been able to take their own self-supporting, which they supported, but they've been able to take it off our books under this category. Now, people need to realize this. That rating that we have, we talk about it a lot, and we should talk about it a lot because we're very proud of it. But that credit rating is very important. If it was not for that credit rating, it would have been hard for us to do this, to decrease that aggressively. It would have been very hard. And it would have been hard for us to refinance those bonds that we had, where we saved over $10 million in interest costs.
That's right.
So it is very important. I know people probably say we talk about it all the time, but guess what? We're very proud of it. That takes a lot of hard work. Has it always been a credit rating with our city? Okay, and we're the same, I think, I don't want anybody putting a picture on the wall, shooting darts or anything in it, but I think we are the same as the state as far as our rating. And we have a very stable outlook, and we hopefully that we can do what, Mr. Arnold? And grow that. I will say that in this environment, it's kind of hard to get upticks because of the environment, because of all the uncertainty. But that rating is very, very important, and it's going to be very important. Let me tell you, they even look at the median household incomes in there. And as that increases, it gives us a chance to increase our, it's a lot of different criteria that they look at. And when they question you, it's not a piece of cake. And when we have to produce to them to show our credit worthiness, it's serious business. And we don't take that lightly. Yes, Melanie?
Mr. Bember wanted to know.
Who was that?
Same gentleman, Mr. Bember.
About the road paving.
On Lee Road.
Yeah, okay.
But he's got a different subject. Why isn't there any requirements for pre-K? I have some kids that are too advanced to be in pre-K.
Yeah, that's a school system question. Yeah, he needs to contact the school system on that. Okay?
Mayor, also something you said a while ago, we saved $10 million. That's $10 million to be spent somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not having to do this anymore. It can come over here and do some of these projects and things that people need, and some more roads and things, so you never know where it can be used or where it's needed later on. But that's $10 million now. It's not, you don't have to account for anymore. So you're able to put it over here in an area that it can do something different, and actually, possibly something, for the citizens. Build something, have something, make something nice.
$10 million.
$10 million to do a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
$10 million, so we're
$10
ready
million
to have
goes a
that.
long way.
And
Just
we
like
have
that.
a great team that does our bonds too, with financing, so.
Exactly, we're very fortunate that they do that for us, and we get a lot of grants and everything, and that helps us. Some of these numbers up here show what we spent, but they didn't show what we saved.
Exactly.
With our part, sometimes only being, 20%, 50%, 10%. Some of them we have to match, but, probably $8 million of our money probably got us $90 million worth of stuff.
Exactly, easily.
Easy.
And then let me say this, looking at this annual debt service, just think about it. You take all your bills that you have to pay for a year, add them up, and if you can save $3 million, or if you can save $3,000 a year, that plugs up a lot of holes. So, and that's the way you look at it. But, we're very strong numbers. We're very strong. Cash is king. Cash is king. So, but again, we just still have to be stewards of it. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Bember would like to know, how big is the city budget? He's just wondering.
For the 2021, or well, the one that we just showed is 43 million. Our budget. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Right here, $43.7 million for fiscal year, for our fiscal year now, but for 2021, it increased to 45 million. And that's correct. And then the utility is what, 13 million? So, you got 45 and 13 million, so you're talking about close to $60 million budget. But this here is just with our operating funds, general funds.
That's great.
So, let them know that it's $43.7 million, which went up $5 million in that year. Okay? Which is a 31% increase when you look at it from a percent standpoint. Okay.
He said thank you.
Mhm.
He said thank you.
Okay. Any other ones?
We have another question.
Okay.
From Greg Hill in District 2.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor,
Mhm.
thank you for your time. What plans does the city have for stimulating effective entrepreneurial activities?
What now?
Entrepreneurial activities.
I didn't,
Entrepreneurial.
entrepreneur.
Yes.
Let me say that basically, that's gonna be left up to mainly individuals as far as being entrepreneurs. The city is, you know, that's not our business. Now, I know people talk about incubators and all that. Now, I will say this, I've never been a big fan of incubators. I can't speak for the rest of the council, but I haven't been a big fan of it. But entrepreneurship basically has to fall on individuals.
But Mayor, can I say something?
Yes.
He asked you about stimulating entrepreneurial
Yeah.
opportunities, or?
Opportunities?
We just want to know what plans the city has for stimulating.
Well, I would say that all of the economic development we talked about. You know, you've got the village of Crosswinds, you've got open, if you have people that want to start businesses, or
Well, yeah,
you got
that's-
space, you
good
know, you've
point.
got opportunities through that, where you could, people that are interested in that, you've got developments where there's opportunities.
Which is left up to those individuals.
Correct.
Yeah.
But the city's growing and providing opportunities through these developments for people that are looking for stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay.
And,
Go ahead. Yes, sir.
and Chamber of Commerce, that's one of their functions.
Right.
Chamber of Commerce, yes. Thanks. Well, what Mr. Gordon said, basically, for the bulk of it, that's left up to the individual. But now, as we grow, there are opportunities, as Mr. Gordon said, as far as them doing businesses themselves. Am I correct, Mr. Gordon? This one?
Yeah, if we're interpreting the question, I mean,
Yeah.
correct, I'm not sure.
And he did thank y'all for that.
Okay. Thank you. Good. And, Wallace. Yeah. Okay. We'll give it a few more minutes. And again, if you don't get your question in tonight, please email them. And again, City Clerk at PHENIXCityAL.us, and you can possibly go out on our website. And I promise you, you will get an answer from all of us or some of us, but you will get an answer. Okay? Again, let me say this. I just want to thank our citizens of this community, which is certainly here doing it for the right reason, and we really want to make a difference. And I was thinking that, you know, sometimes our motives get questions, but I always say this, and what we have shown and what they have done and we have done is that when our motives get questioned, we are able to verify. And sometimes, you know, our backbone, we solidify that because we're transparent and we tell the truth and we do all those things. But this is a calling. This is a calling that we do that even get more clarified, because this shows how much clarity it is in this community from this council and these department heads, and in particular from our city manager. It shows the clarity. But what I want to encourage people in our community, and I get very serious about this, we have to lift each other up. We have to love each other. We have to be humble. Because again, we can't live in this community by ourselves. If COVID hadn't shown us anything, it should have taught us that we need each other. We truly need each other. And I just can't thank you all enough for believing in this council. And if you have any questions or anything, you feel free to ask. And you know, a lot of times we don't know the question or the answer. But what we always tell you, we'll have to get back with you. We have to get with our city manager. We'll get back with you. We have to get with the department head, but we will get back with you. But I just want Phoenix City so badly to be a community that I do believe in. And I do believe in a polyethnic in a community. And I just believe that we can do that collectively. And so my challenge is just, let's all work together, continue to do what we're supposed to do. And we are taking care of your money, and we are going to spend it, it's just like it's our own. So again, I want to thank our city council. You had something?
I just wanted to know if I could offer a comment.
Sure.
Mayor, this financial trajectory is true. This is something that has not been put together to make the city look good. And it is because of our mayor and this council, and because we show the love that we have for our community. And so at this time, I want to thank the mayor for displaying such exemplary service and leadership. And I think it should be noted for tonight with a hand clap.
Let me say, this is a team, I thank you, Ms. Carter, but this is a team with a lot of compassion and love. I'm telling you, we're doing this for the right reason. Listen, this is about all of us together. And let me tell you this, we have the passion. Thank God we have the energy to put up with some of the things we have to put up with. That's only by God that we can do this. But listen, let's continue to be a lifter and not a leaner. And let's lock arms together and just lift our community. But we love our community. We love you. I love my council member. I love the people that work with. We love people. And I want us to have that attitude. So with that, I would like to say thank you and thanks Gail TV, CITYme for bringing this. And at this time, if there's not anything else, we are adjourned. And thank you for joining us for this state of the city. Thank you. Okay. Thank you all, council.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.